Right, it says we are live.
Okay.
Let's see. Wow, our footsteps are loud. Anyways, we're live. First and foremost, Kal Yahweh Bashem Yoshai Bashem Echad Kodesh Barakta Yahweh Barakta Yahweh Shai Shalom.
Shalom.
Double honors to Els G, Mass Great News to me. Shalom. Shalom to elect. The 12 tribes just scattered for our greetings. We call ourselves a hopeful like why? Because we don't know who the elect is in these times. Put on therefore as the elect of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So this is a walk and talk. By the title of today's lesson is about what? And he that sat upon the pale horse, death and hell, followed with him. And that's coming from the book of Revelation. Let's get it up on the screen. Put on therefore as the elect of hell by Shem Yahshai. The elect will have works, faith and works. Faith without works is dead, meaning what? If you have works, that shows you have faith. If you have no faith, you have no works. If somebody has Ebola, they have symptoms. If they say they have Ebola but no symptoms, they do not have Ebola. So the works is the symptoms in this case to show you that they have faith. Here you go, brother.
Right. Revelation chapter 6 and verse 7. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, "Come and see."
Come and see. And this is John the Revelator out of Patmos more than 2,000 years ago, to 2,000 years ago time period, receiving these visions on the island of Patmos, the condemned to do the salt mines. If you do research, salt mines is grueling labor. The salt's in the air. If you have any cuts, the salt's in the air, getting into your cuts, the rest of it. Dry skin, you get dry, thirsty. Oh boy. Come and see. All right, next verse. You just do picturing it. Have it with a picture.
Verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth.
Ooh, let me see that, brother. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse. Who's that representative of? That's representative of Esau, Edom, so-called white man, the red man. Genesis 25:25. Esau came out all over red, like in hairy garment. Did he come over with hair out? No. Compare and contrast. Ancient Israelites will dye animal skin red. Therefore, what? Compare and contrast to that red animal skin. And to be specific, one example is in the scriptures, ram skin was dyed red. So he came out all over red, like in hairy garment. As if he was a hairy garment, but he wasn't a hairy garment. He was just red. And his name that sat on him was Death. Actually, that is what Esau brings. Death. And hell. Hell is what? The grave or condition. If hell is a spiritual place, how is hell following after someone on a pale horse? Does that make sense, brother? You gotta picture all this hell coming out.
Mm-hmm.
No, really picture that, Yeah, you picture all this coming. How is that following somebody? An endless expanse of torment is following somebody. That don't make sense. Followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth. What is the fourth part of the earth? That is America. That's going into America. Esau has control over America, the Americas. Let's get it. There's a map. The fourth part of the earth. It's a map. Alright. The fourth part of the world refers to the New World America, a term popularized by the map 1507 Wildis Miller map, which first depicted America as a separate continent distinct from Europe, Asia, and Africa. Here you go. Read that out, brother. Oh, Slack it. Let me get this map name. It's called the World Shire map. Bear with me a few moments. WA. There it is. They go to map 1507. Here you go, brother.
Here we go. Here we go. The 1507 Waldseemüller map, created by German cartographer Martin Waldseemüller, is a landmark document known as America's Birth Certificate because it is the first map to label America and depict the New World as a separate continent. The 12-sheet woodcut wall map represents the Americas separated from Asia by a distinct Pacific Ocean.
It named America what? The fourth part of the world. Who has power over the fourth part of the world? Is it the Chinaman? It's the red man.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, there it is, the red man. To what? To kill with the sword. What is Esau's blessing? The sword. That's from the Genesis. Hunger, famine, massacre the buffalo. Let's go into that. Bless me, my father, even me. Get that one where Esau's blessing is the sword. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept and said, Bless me, Father, even my father. Hast thou but one blessing? Give it unto me. And part of that blessing was what? It was the sword. And what is the sword? The sword is the modern day gun. It is weapons. A sword is a weapon. Ain't that what the conquistadors did? The colonizers did? The 13 colonies did? Thanksgiving's about the massacre of the Native American Indians, which is the northern kingdom of the 12 tribes of Israel. Massacre at the Gadite. Esau killed our brothers and sisters of the Gadite tribes and took their land. Ain't that what it is? And our true land is what? Israel, the promised land. But go ahead.
Genesis 27 and verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing? My father, bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
Yep, keep going.
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above.
But-
And by thy sword...
Oh, Slakia, let's go back to that verse. Hast thou the blessing, even my father? Thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, hast the riches of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. So Esau has what? The riches of the earth. He rules the world. He even controls what? The resources, the fatness of the earth. And the dew from heaven above. You know, the dew from heaven above, you know, you wake up, see that dew in the morning. And the dew of heaven from above, you know, all that. It covers what? It covers the ground. So Esau has what? World domination. Keep going. Yeah.
And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
What did it say with the sword?
And by thy sword shalt thou live.
And by thy weapons, and by thy gun shalt thou live. Whatever this man does, he brings what? His weapons. Peace treaty. Nope, we're gonna just use war against you. We're gonna rain down democracy. For those of you that get the joke. You know? We're gonna, how should I phrase it, brother? You know how when they be dropping stuff that's dropping pure democracy and freedom. Freedom explosives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good term. Freedom explosives. You say, no, we're going to drop some freedom on you. 10,000 pounds of freedom. There you go. You feel free yet? Yeah, you send them to the spirit world, right? We'll make you free. 10,000 pounds of freedom. What did Nero 47 speak about? We want to send you back to the Stone Age, where you belong. We're going to wipe out the entire civilization. And by thy sword shalt thou live. Keep going.
And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
So when that blessing he got it activated immediately.
Immediately.
He's like, I'm gonna live by the sword now, baby.
There you go.
I'm gonna be living by this sword. At least that piece of it. All right, let's see. All right, take away my, let me go up, Slacky, bear with me. Serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion. Esau has dominion now. Thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Right. Interesting to note, at one point the Israelites was what? Ruling over the Edomites, but yeah, Esau broke that yoke from off his neck. So now we know who Esau is and why it says the sword, to kill with the sword. Now, and with hunger, let's get an example of with hunger. Massacre the buffalo to starve
Yeah.
Native American Indians, which is the Gadites. And you got the Seminole Indians and the rest of the 12 tribes chart. Let me just get the chart on screen real quick. So it might say, well, Native American Indians, no South America, it's only the Gadites. Where's all the other the Kingdom tribes? Oh, here they go. Oh man, that's blurry. Could you read it out, brother?
Judah, so-called Negroes. Benjamin, so-called West Indians. Levi, so-called Haitians. Simeon, so-called Dominicans. Zebulon, so-called Guatemalans to Panamanians. Ephraim, so-called Puerto Ricans. Manasseh, so-called Cubans. Gad, so-called North American Indians. Reuben, so-called Seminole Indians. Naphtali, the so-called Argentinian to Chileans. Asher, so-called Colombians to Uruguayans. Issachar, so-called Mexicans.
Uruguayans is Uruguayans, something like that. And yeah, the 12 tribes chart, I might forget their names and mince their names and misplace names, but I believe it was High Priest. Okay, that's a human. I believe it was High Priest Arya, was it? The spirit gave him that, something like overnight, something like that. And he did the chart. And they did what? They fact checked the chart. Come to find out, the chart is accurate. There's a whole breakdown of the chart. With Asher, going to Asher's blessing with the oil and all that. Where Asher is today, they have all that oil like that. And what is it? Corn? Yeah, corn oil and all that. They got all that oil. So the 12 tribes chart do match. Puerto Ricans. Let me see it, brother. Ephraim's blessing was what? Ephraim, the name goes into being fruitful bowl. So Ephraim, they're going to think what? A lot about sex, which means what? The Puerto Ricans, well, just look at them there. And the rest of the 12 tribes. Judah, so-called Negroes. The head tribe of the 12 tribes is the Judites. So the Judites is what? Well, when it comes to a physical fighting, they're what? Stronger than all the other tribes too. That's because they're Judah, the Negroes. Makes sense. Indeed, they all do match. Levites, that was the priests, and the Haitians are heavy into witchcraft. Like all the other kingdoms, all the other tribes too, but yeah, them Haitians with their witchcraft. Because it was on the right hand side, so when they went to the left, yeah. Now, the mass slaughter of the American buffalo.
The mass slaughter of the American buffalo bison
We can sit here, bro.
in the 19th century was a deliberate strategy by the U.S. government and military to subjugate Native American tribes, particularly those on the Great Plains.
What? Starvation. That's what? Hunger. All right. So, let's go back to Revelation 6 and 8, and with the beasts of the earth. All right, help me out, brother. Get them when they have the dogs around people. Dude, that's just one example of the beasts of the earth. Just one example of the beast of the earth. A pale horse. horse represents what? Horse represents power. You know, the Rothschilds, I gotta find that quote because they spoke about what? We are the riders of the pale horse. I gotta find that quote now.
This is one version of the event. On May 13th, 1963, during the Birmingham Children's Crusade, police used dogs to attack young African American protesters, with a famous photo by Bill Hudson capturing a police dog lunging at a 15-year-old Walter Gadsden. This brutally published globally fueled public outrage and accelerated support for the Civil Rights Act.
Is there anything the spirit wants to bring out? Just bring it out. All right.
We can keep going.
It smells so nice out here with the trees. But then it's something might stink too. All right, let's go back. It's gonna go back to being a paradise when Yahweh Shai come back, Shiloh. All right, we are the riders of the pale horse. Quote. What's that lady's name? Ooh. We are the riders of the pale horse. Quote by woman. A little Apostle Wall bring this out all the time. Catherine Annie Porter. Nope. Barbara Marx Hubbard. There it is. Yep, the pale horse. Yeah. Yeah. Futurists, we are the riders of the pale horse. Discussions regarding the new age has something here. Eschatology and controversial views on human selection, which is what? Culling. That goes back to what? The Georgia Guidestone.
Mm-hmm.
What? They wanted to maintain the earth on the population of 500 million. No more than 500 million people. How much sword do they have to use to do that? Oh, here it goes, the culling. 1/4 of humanity must be.
1/4 of humanity must be eliminated from the social body. We are in charge of God's selection process for planet Earth. He selects, we destroy. We are the riders of the pale horse, death. Barbara Marx Hubbard.
We are the riders of the pale horse, death. That's true. The Most High does have Esau as his sword, pursuant to the book of Psalms, chapter 17. Arise, O Yahweh, Hashem Yoshai, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword, as it is written about. Esau's what? That sword. Is it the sunset yet? Something like that.
Just about. It's going into twilight.
Twilight Zone. Never mind. All right, so that's the rise of the pale horse. He went into that. Pale horse went into that. His name that saw him was death. Hell. Hell is the grave or condition. Put two into the book of Jonah, chapter 2, verses 1 and 2. Jonah was where? In the belly of hell. But where was he? He was in the fish's belly. So Jonah was in the belly of hell. He was in hell. But where was he? He was in the fish's belly, proving hell is a condition. To prove it's the grave, we go to Psalm 18. We got to get to going because they're going to kick us out.
They're going to kick us out. Yeah, let's go.
Psalm 18 speaks about what? The snares of death compassed me about. The swords of hell made me afraid. You know, the snares of hell, swords of hell. We'll speak about that in Psalm 18. Does that mean King David was surrounded by hell? And Satan was down there saying, "Wahaha, you will be with me tonight. We are all animals, King David. You will be here with me tonight." No. He could have died in the midst of battle. That's Psalm 18. Fierce battle. And look, behold, the pale horse, and his name that sat on him was death, and hell followed with him. Went into that. And power was given unto them over the 4th part of the earth. That's America. Babylon the Great, to kill with the sword. Now we know what the sword is. With hunger, starvation, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. Now let's get there. It's Psalm 17. Get that Psalm 7. Psalm 17 and verse 13, I believe it is.
Gosh.
Arise, O Yahweh, deliver my soul. Arise, O Yahweh, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. Going back to that Barbara Marx Hubbard. I'm butchering her name.
Yep. Psalm 17:13. Arise, O Lord Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword.
The sword. You can say a few words on that, brother?
The sword. That's Esau, Edom. That's what we just been talking about. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. Deliver me. And that deliverance isn't coming until Yahweh Shai comes back.
Yeah, that's the ultimate
That's the
deliverance.
ultimate deliverance. And then Esau, Edom, it will permanently go down at that point because America will be destroyed. Intercontinental ballistic missiles is coming. Laser beams from the chariot is coming to completely destroy and annihilate this kingdom, this rulership, this age. And Esau, Edom will receive a recompense for all of the atrocities that he have committed, first and foremost to the children of Israel.
Yep, the apple of his eye. Get that, the apple of his eye. Reaching that 15, 20-minute mark there. Who was the apple of his eye? Who was the apple of the Most High Yahweh his eye? Children of Israel. Somebody go after the apple of your eye.
Zechariah 2:8. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye.
So I can read that again for the camera.
For thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you, for he toucheth the apple of his eye.
Let me see it. All right. For thus saith Yahweh of hosts, Yahweh of armies. Hosts is going in armies. Yahweh Tazaba'awoth, host. Tazaba'awoth of hosts. Host. After the glory hath he sent me unto you. It's like it. After the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. Who spoiled us? These other nations, they have what? A part in spoiling us, destroying us. And who spoiled us the most? The Edomites. Yes, spoiled does not mean I spoiled child. This child is rotten spoiled. No, this spoiled here is bad.
No, there was no candies, there was no money, there was no gifts. There was death and destruction and toil and sorrow.
Bitter bondage. And what's the scripture speak about Egypt being what? That iron furnace.
Yes.
And that's ancient Egypt, but America's what? Spiritual asylum in Egypt. Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. So America's that bitter bondage. We serve with rigor. Rigor goes into what? Bitterness, sore, hard slavery, bondage. Spoil. You know, you go to a city, you spoil it, take all the gold, the jewelry, and you slave the inhabitants. You know, that's what spoil goes into. You take the men's whip, you take the women. Don't take the men's whip, that's adultery. But Esau, he's the devil, so he did that. And he took the men too, and the children, and slept with everybody. There was a thing about whoever got in the slave trips, they got sodomized, or had the act of sex. But for a man, that's sodomization. And more than likely, they did that to the women too, not the right way, which includes men, women, and children. South America, there was something with a man when the slaves would come in, he would get them all, man or female. You go to Lot's days, and where was he? You know, Sodom. They was like, bring those two men out here. I have virgin daughters. No, we want those two men. I said, that's terrible. You go to the book of Judges, the Benjamites, they came. We want this man, bring him out here. No. The concubine ended up going out there. She died overnight because they raped her all the night. Then she died, and then she got cut into pieces and sent out. That's in the book of Judges.
Precept.
Go ahead.
Psalm 58 and verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Estranged from the womb. The brother was just talking about what happened to the concubine. The brother just was talking about what happened to the slaves on the ship. Esau glorifies the act of sodomy, even though it is detestable and gross, an abomination in the eyes of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Yet America glorifies that act for men and women to commit that act and says that it's okay. Vile affections. It is a complete abomination, and it's been popularized and put in front of people as something to be glorious about and to partake in that for pleasure. Abomination.
There's a book, the pleasures of gay sex. That's messed up. You ought to, if you go into scientifically, those of you that know about human biology, you have something called down there the vagus nerve. And in that occasion, the vagus nerve can be what? Stimulated, overstimulated, and the person can what? Pass out, become unconscious, plus a whole other plethora of things. The anal sphincter is not meant for that. It is meant for out, not in. You can mess that up down there.
You can't.
There is no lubricant down there either. The anal sphincter does not produce any form of lubricant, so therefore, ripping and tearing can be what? Severe. Something wrong with these Babylonians.
God. You gotta get out of here.
Then they gotta get stretched all out down there, because the anal sphincter is meant for one thing, not the other thing. My goodness, these Edomites. Alright, we got 26 minutes, so y'all all brothers are gonna come back. Right back. Hold on tight.